Hello, beautiful souls out there. I hope you're able to get out in nature like Starlight was. I was outside. I really was. I was outside. It was a one of those days today. I'm looking out. Is it raining now? Is it? I don't know. It's kind of hard. If it's, it is raining out. It is raining out again. So that is what this day has been. Like, somebody's up there in the clouds and they got this little light, this light switch up there, and they're like, let's see, and it's got levels. So yeah, it's been like that all day long. Is This morning it started off with some rain and sun at the same time, like, okay. So anyway, it didn't matter because you know what, I had an amazing day. Even in the pouring rain, it was like raining elephants. Watch out, there's an elephant coming. So yes, lots of rain today, and I'm grateful to see it because there's times I didn't see rain for like a year. It's like, where's the rain? So I don't mind. I know people here, they might not like the rain like I do right now. So I've learned to appreciate so many things on this journey. So I love you so much, and I hope you're getting out. Is it raining where you are too? So if you are new to my YouTube channel, welcome, and you could find me on YouTube, and that is at Starlight, and that is Kathy with a K Digman. Plus, you could give my videos a thumbs up, and you could subscribe to my YouTube channel. Don't be afraid, don't be shy. Swing by. That's God thundering. Swing by and say hi to Starlight by leaving Starlight a message down below. Beep, beep, beep. And also, you could share my videos with your family, your friends, some fish, because, and I'm going to say some birds because they like it when it rains because, they're out there in the puddles and getting some worms out of it. The worms come up and, yeah, so, yes, so besides that, you can check out my playlist. Plus, find me on Instagram at 1995 Starlight or on Facebook, and that is Kathy with a K Digman Starlight. And I have to say, I want to say, not that I have to, but I want to say thank you, all of you. Yeah, you. The one that keeps on giving me thumbs up. Yeah, you. I don't know. Who is it? Maybe I know who it is, but maybe I don't. But thank you. And those of you who've been here, yes, there's one, just one that I know of who's been there even before I started YouTube. So, and that person is still here with me today. So thank you so much for being here, loving and supporting Starlight by watching my videos and supporting me. And all of you who have been there from the beginning or even in the middle or even recently. And I just met a whole bunch of people today. So thank you so much for being here and loving the support and Starlight by giving thumbs up, sharing my videos, or leaving me a comment, or even subscribing to my YouTube channel. So thank you. And so today it's about, and this is one of my I am affirmations that I borrowed. I don't steal. Starlight doesn't steal anymore, but I borrowed this from my mentor, and it is an awesome I am affirmation. And so, sorry. No, I'm not sorry. So I borrowed his I am affirmation, and it's, I am not waiting for things to happen. I'm making things happen. And that is such a beautiful I am affirmations. And that is, there's days that I'm able to, if I get my mind, and that's why it's so important to protect your energy. If you're not protecting your energy, you might have goals and plans and stuff like that, and things could come up, and swipe those away, and then you forgot what you were working on, and then you're putting it off and stuff like that. So, like the other day, I said, well, today I'm going to get an oil change. And you know what? It happened even sooner than I thought. I needed an oil change, because I have a car, and I've rode how many miles in that baby, and I'm so grateful. Thank you, God, for the oil change, because all things, a lot of us think that, you might have a job and stuff like that, and you might think you did it all. I tell you what, God helped you to get there. God, you got health and stuff like that. So always be thankful for everything that you have, even your family, even, thank God for the good times and the bad times. But today is about making things happen, not waiting for things to happen, and I did another thing today. I said it today, and because today, today was a rainy day. Somebody was up there with a light switch, turning it on and off, and all kinds of, like, let's put the sun out, and everybody's like, yeah, look at that. Watch out for those days, You could get out there in the middle of town or on a hiking trail and not have, your proper gear, like a jacket or a hat or an umbrella, and that was this day today. So instead of waiting for things to happen, this used to happen to me a long time ago, and the church never told me. Why do they never tell me this stuff? And then people get frustrated at God, and they're throwing their fists at God, saying, I prayed, God, I prayed, and I prayed, but nothing happened. I just sat in my house praying about stuff all the time, waiting for things to happen, and nothing happened. So they stopped believing in God. They stopped believing that God is God and God can make things happen in our life. But guess what? You got to take action. You can't just sit in your house, and have your legs crossed, if you do, like Starlight does at times, and just sit around and not take any action about getting what you desire. What do you desire? Just like your health. People will pray about their health, but are you doing anything about your health? Are you working on your, exercise like the doctor told you? Or are you like, hey, I don't have to exercise. God's going to help me out. I don't have to do that work. I don't have to work on my diet. God's going to help me. God wants you to work. God wants you to love yourself so much that you're willing to, to love yourself so much that you're going to say, you know what? I love myself so much. I got to take better care of myself. And you know what? Tomorrow morning when I wake up, because it's already nighttime, I'm going to get up and I'm going to exercise. I just met a man the other day, is that he's struggling. Actually, I met two men in actually in the same day. They both admitted is that, wow, they realize that they're out of shape. They realize that, the one guy said, I would be worn out if I just walked from here to there, and that's bad, So you better take care of what God gave you, and that means everything. Just like your family, and be kind to everyone, and love them and be there for them. And so whatever you desire in life is that instead of waiting for things to happen and fall on your lap and like, yeah, there's people, I've met lots of people throughout my lifetime that, they believe that the world owes them something. And you know what? I don't have to work for anything. It's all going to just fall on my plate. And then they get mad because they're only getting government money. They refuse to go to work even though they could. They could have health issues, but it doesn't stop them to make money on the side without the government knowing. And, so they could work, but, because, they have a reason why they can go and get money from the government that they decide they don't want to go out, to bring income in. But they're really hurting themselves, because that's why Starlight didn't want to go that route, is because I was on that route when my kids were little, and I was not a stay-at-home mom, but I was a single mom raising two kids without a car. How am I going to make all that happen, without a car, without parents, without people to help and love and support me? I was there all on my own. And at those years, I didn't know God in those times, when my kids were that little, until a certain year when my kids were little. Then I started going to church. But, I couldn't just sit there and wait for things to happen. I had to, Just like even Starlight had a horrible time counting on anybody in those days throughout my whole life. Matter of fact, Starlight wasn't one to sit around waiting for something to happen. Not when it came to, somebody says, hey, I'll give you a ride tomorrow. That can never happen. That might never happen. So what I learned at a really young age, I couldn't count on people. So Starlight, instead of, even bothering to call anybody up on the phone, I said, you know what? And it's God. A lot of times we get mad at people, but God's trying to teach us stuff. But we could get mad at people and complain about, you never showed up. You never called me. God's trying to teach you something right there. Get your ass up and go walk. You got 2 legs, you can go there. There's times that people could walk there. It's a long walk, of course, I have to say, or get on a bus, and yeah, it sucks getting on a bus, right? It takes how many extra, minutes and hours to, get on a bus to go. It's too far of a walking distance, where you have to take a bus, but you know what? It taught me to not rely on other people. It taught me I can do this myself, because it taught me that counting on other people was more frustrating and more aggravating than if I just did it on my own. I already would have had my stuff, already done, and I would have felt good about myself because I showed myself that I could do it. So stop waiting for things to happen. You got to take action, and just like a job, if you just sit around waiting, talking to other people about the job that you want, but you're not out there applying yourself, and then you complain and say that there's no jobs out there, but have you done the work? And it's a lot of work. It's being patient. It's trusting and believing that there's a job out there, or you could start your own business, which would be even better, so you gotta stop waiting for things, because if you're waiting for things to happen, it will, you got dreams and desires, right? Well, I learned this from my mentor. I'm where I am today. If I just stayed in New York, I wouldn't have learned all the things that I learned right now. It was about getting out of my comfort zone. It was facing my fears. It was about taking action. I could have just sat there and complained the whole time about what happened to me, and where does complaining go? Absolutely nowhere. It brings, energy goes where energy flows. So when you put out negative energy out there in the world, you're going to receive it back. So you really don't want to do that. You really don't want to complain about. You could do something about it, though, by taking action and having a plan. And, even if you got to take a piece of paper, take some time and write out, okay, this is what I desire. This is, what do you want to do in 2025? Well, guess what? Time is ticking. A lot of people think, I got all the time in the world, Starlight. I'm so young. I'll tell you what, you say that now. My kids, it felt like, not too long ago that they were 4 and 5 or 4 and 6 years old. Now I got grandkids. Where did that, even my grandkids, one was just born, the other one was, now, sorry about that, is, now I have a 6-year-old grandson and a 15-year-old. Where did time go? You don't have all the time in the world like you think. And if you're like, hey, I can't do it because, I got this to do and I got that to do, and I'll tell you what, a lot of people have a lot of excuses why they can't do what they want to do, their dreams. You got to believe in yourself, number one. You got to believe and trust that God will help you. You can't do this all on your own. You got to have faith in God and ask God for help. Like I said, when I was in church a long time ago, and I didn't finish my story, is that, I was a prayer warrior. Not that I did it, but God answered my prayers on different things. But there was things that wasn't happening in my life because I wasn't taking any action. I wasn't working. I wasn't doing anything. I just, I was in a cult church for 7 straight years of hell. And those 7 years, I prayed. I cried and I prayed and I cried and I prayed for help and I cried. You know what? The only way I got out of that cult church is I had to face that fear. I thought those people would have killed me if they caught me. You know, that's how dangerous this was where I was. My family was worried about me because this church was, the pastor was getting all the members of the church to buy handguns, guns. So yeah, you know, because this man was making enemies with people. And so, you know, he was putting fear in the people's minds and, you know, getting us to go against people of skin color, you know. So God put me through these things because, you know, you might go on through stuff in your life. There's the reason why God, you know, you go through a lot of things is to find out who you are. You can follow that crowd and be just like them, or you can separate yourself and say, you know what? I don't want nothing to do with you, those kind of people. I don't believe like you, and you know, you can actually be afraid and stay stuck in that situation, wherever you are, whatever relationship. You know, people are in relationships, they're like, I gotta stay here. We got married. No, you don't. God wants to see you happy. If you're not happy and if you've been working and you've been, you know, first you want to, if you're not in an abusive relationship, number one, it's best, you know, there's people that are in relationships but they refuse to do the work in that relationship and they see somebody else on the outside. And so they could do the inner work, you know, and help each other and communicate with each other. But sometimes there's somebody on the outside where they don't want to do the work. They want to just let go and just jump into another relationship with another person. Is that really going to be the answer? But a lot of people do that. They're like, no, you know, it's too much work to really sit. And now they got their eyes off on, you know, it takes a lot of work in relationships. It's, you know, a lot of us, and I was guilty of this, thinking that it's supposed to be easy. Life isn't easy. So do you think relationships are going to be easy, especially when all of us need to get healed? So stop sitting around having all these excuses why you can't do something. Instead, you got to get up off your ass. Really, you do. You got to get up and you got to take action. Have a plan. Write it down. You know, tomorrow I got something that I'm going to work on. I said, you know what? I'm going to make this happen. I'm not going to wait for this to happen. I got something that I'm working on, and I could get distracted. I could forget what I'm even working on, you know, and that's why it's so important to, you know, protect your energy. So stop, you know, having all these excuses why you can't move out of where you are. Well, Starlight, I know a lot of people like this. They don't want to live where they are, but they're letting people hold them back. They could be in a relationship that they know that they really don't belong in, but they got comfortable in that relationship. And that relationship can hold them back from being free. They don't want, you know, what they're dealing with. They're not happy, but there's people that will fake it because they don't want to start all over. They don't want to live with themselves. They never lived with themselves. They've never been alone with themselves long enough to really know who they are, because a lot of people are afraid of themselves. They don't want that deepness of finding out who they really are. So don't let people pull you back. That's what happens to a lot of people, is they have excuses. Starlight, I would like to do what you're doing, but I met a lady not too long ago. What, you know, like I get some beautiful connections. She traveled to go and help her mom. And when she got into I already knew. It's so weird. I already felt the energy before she even told me. It's almost like I already knew what was going on without even knowing what was going on. I don't even know how I did this. But she has a sister, and her mom once she's told me certain information, I already knew what was going on. Her mom has money, and her sister is there taking advantage of her mom's money. And, you know, there's a lot of stuff in the house. They got a lot of things to take care of, a lot of things of letting go. And it's caused a lot of drama and a lot of stress in the other sisters' lives, where this sister really cares about her mom and really wants to help her out and doesn't care about all this stuff. But she could be stuck in there trying to help her mom and always fighting with her sister because her sister doesn't want her in there because she wants to get all her mom's things. She doesn't have to stay there and put up with all that stuff. She loves her mom, but if you're always going to have this third party in there that's mixing things up and stirring things up. She desires to do this over here instead, but she's getting caught up and pulled into a war with the family about money and material values. Let it go. Let all that stuff go. All that stuff doesn't matter. You got to let it go and say, you know what? You're holding me back. These people are holding me back. I want to be over here, but they're holding me back. So stop having people. Sorry, Starlight's got to get some water here. I would never be where I am today, being able to travel all around the United States, if I let my family hold me back. I had to let go of my family. I had to let go of even my grandson because I'm on a mission with God out here, and that is not easy. I had to take action. I'm being called of God. God is so important in my life. Besides that special someone out there, that has helped me this whole entire way. So, it's amazing. If I didn't get out of my comfort zone and let go of all the distractions in New York, I would have missed out on all the things that I've learned and what God is doing. And, my relationship with God has grown because I did something. I took action. And was it easy? Absolutely not. It was not easy. But it was worth it. It is worth it. So put away all those excuses. You're waiting for this to happen. Are you so worried about all the material stuff? You're worried about pleasing other people. I'll tell you what, those are the ones that are going to hold you back. You got to let go. There's people that are letting other people hold them back. There's people that want to be free, but they're afraid to, they're afraid they're going to hurt somebody's feelings. You got to think about your own life right now, your own ass right now. What makes you happy? Well, this over here would make me extremely happy. But I got, what, excuses why you're not making it happen? So I said something today, what I'm going to do tomorrow, because, I have to do this right here. But tomorrow I'm like, I'm not waiting for that to happen because I got a certain amount of time to do and get working on this is the perfect time of the year to do what I want to do right now. But I got to take action. You're going to miss things in life because you didn't jump when you were supposed to. You had all these excuses why you couldn't. Right now, I got something I'm working on mentally. Today, I did a lot of work today. It might not look like it to other people, but I did a lot of work today. And it was mental work. It's to make things happen. It's a step closer to a thing that I want. It's to give Starlight her own little birthday gift this year, something that I used to do a long time ago. And Starlight, and it's beautiful. But you know what? I could just sit there and get, forgetful about what I'm doing, get distracted, have people pull me aside, forget what I'm doing, and it could never happen. And before you know it, there's times out there, you only have a certain amount of time that God will give you. If you want to do that, Starlight, right now, you got to start working on this, just like a job or relationships. How come you're not doing the work? There's people out there, they're not doing the work, and then they see a girl come in their life, and they're like, well, she's not going to want nothing to do with you. You weren't working your whole life to get to where she is, because you slacked the whole time. Now you want to say you're going to do all the work when she's already outgrew that person, already been working on herself. You think she's going to wait for somebody that hasn't even how long it would take for that person to prove that they are even worthy? Because they never did the work. So don't think, hey, I don't have to do the work for that relationship. It's best right now while you're waiting to do the work. That way you have something to offer them when they do come in your life. You'd be like, look at what I got to offer you. What do you have to offer for that guy? What do you have to offer that female? You got to take action now, not to put it, say I'll do it when I find that one. Well, then it's going to, they might not want nothing to do with you, because they're going to look at you and like, what do you have? You don't even have anything to offer me. I don't care about how much money you have. What? I don't care about the pickup truck or the house. What? That's all you got to offer me? I could care, I'm that chick that wants to live off the land. Do you think any of that has anything to help me? No, that all that shit means nothing to me. I mean, you know what means? What you're doing inside of you. And so, ladies, guys, you want that perfect girl out there, you want that guy out there, you got your heart and mind set on that person, you got to get busy. Instead of waiting for things to happen, waiting for that person to come in your life, get busy so you have something to offer. Not all women out there, like Starlight, is not like this. She could care less about the money in the bank. She could care less about if you're popular or not. She doesn't care about any of that stuff. What she cares about is your heart and your mind, and what are you doing? What are you doing with yourself? Are you exercising? Are you eating healthy? So, don't think that all the women are the same, and don't think all the men are the same. Start working on yourself, and really face those shadows that we all have to deal with. So stop waiting for things to fall on your lap. You got this time to get ready and prepared for the things that you desire. You can make things happen by taking action today. I love you so much. This is Starlight. You could give my videos a thumbs up, and you could subscribe to my YouTube channel. Plus, you can also leave me a message down below, beep, 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 and you could share my videos with your family, your friends, and let me see. I'm going to say a duck, because they like water, and a beaver. So, yes, you could share my videos with them, and you can also check out my playlist. Plus, you can find me on Instagram at 1995 Starlight, or on Facebook, and that is Kathy with a K, Dingman Starlight. I love you all. Stop. I am no longer waiting for things to happen. I am making things to happen. That's what you want to say. Say that 3 times. Not just that. I am affirmations. There's a whole bunch of other affirmations. You got to do those every day. And you know what? It will help you. It will motivate you. It will inspire you. It will help you to take that leap. It will help you to really believe in yourself and have confidence that you really need to make it happen, instead of waiting for things to happen or waiting for people. You got to get out there. You got to push yourself. Get uncomfortable. Face your fears. I love you so much. This is Starlight. Namaste. This is Starlight. Love, light, and peace.